Thank you all for being here and thank you for your patience while we got this started. We have audio and sound. And pull up the agenda. So tonight's meeting of the Finance Committee is our regularly scheduled January meeting. Last week was a holiday, so our bylaws do push it 1 week, hence we are doing it today. That will also be the case for next month as well, I believe. I believe the 17th is a holiday. So since we do not have a quorum, we will be in work session mode, meaning that we this is we will not do a roll call. We don't have any votes. And apparently this, I pulled up the Board of Trustees packet. I was wondering why we were going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. So yes, we will not be doing roll call or votes, meaning we won't be doing the consent agenda either. But we can still talk about the topics. Let's make sure we can still see everyone. Perfect. So our first topic tonight is an update from the auditor. This was done last month. The Finance Committee was invited to the Board of Trustees work session. The auditor presented, gave us an update. And so I wanted to share that with everyone. Go ahead and share this on Zoom as well. There we go. Okay. And hopefully, I'm going to see if I can get this on the big screen for us. And we don't have sound.
Many years for some have. I'll turn on sound.
All right, so that was, make sure, yeah, okay. That was the update that was given, like I said, in December. Just to give a little more update of where the 22 audit stands. The MD&A draft was submitted back to the auditor. And this week I'm expecting there were some adjustments that had to be made and we're making, getting the final draft of the 22 audit this week. As excuse me, as Mr. Hinkle said, we have submitted the 23 trial balance. So essentially the general ledger. We will be resubmitting that with the journal entries from the 22 audit. So we are continuing to make progress. We have a couple months to get the 23 audit done before we can really pull the 24 audit together, given that the revenues from the state, which have not been delayed, those do lag 2 months. So the deposit we get in February is from December, essentially from the state. So we are continuing to make progress and stay on track, and we do not have any further extensions. So July 31st at the very latest, we will be caught up come heck or high water. So any
cut over 2023 or
24.
20, you'll have 24 by.
We have to have it by July 31st.
Okay, so timing wise, you submitted the draft in managers and reported there. When do you expect maybe the 11th of February presenting the draft audit to the board of trustees?
I don't have an exact timeline, but I could ask. I am getting a draft this week and we should be able to pin down a finalized.
The reason I'm asking is if it gets pushed off to the second meeting in February, then we've already got really a couple of months to get the 2023 audit done. And that might challenge the July 31st for the 2024 amount of time, just the time period going on. So
I will definitely keep that in mind.
okay.
We are continuing. I've had 3 communications with the auditor today. So
Okay.
it is not something on a back burner. It is
Oh, no.
right front and center.
No, I appreciate all that. I'm just, I know how long it took. Once we had the 21 audit, we're like 3 months into the 22 audit
Right.
now. And we're still not there yet. So
Yeah.
so the timing wise, if it takes 3 to 4 months for each one, then we're looking at September before we can get a 2024 audit done.
My understanding is now that we're retaining the same auditor, so
Okay.
we had a different auditor for 21, who was also new to us. So
Yeah.
the last audit in 20, we switched auditors in 21. We've switched auditors now for 22, and that auditor is contracted through 24.
Okay.
So they have all of our files, and we just get them
Okay.
the new. They don't have to find a new starting point. They created the ending point.
Yeah.
What would happen if, I'm sorry, did you?
Oh, no.
What would happen if July 31st rolls around, and we still do not have the 2024 audit? What happens?
I have not explored that
Do we
possibility.
get penalized for?
Not financially, not that I'm aware of.
Do we put on kind of notice or?
It will impact our ability to receive grants. It could impact our ability, it will continue to impact the receiving the funds from the county for property taxes. But I don't know of any additional penalties. I will look into that and
Okay.
follow back up.
All right.
Absolutely. Any other questions or discussion?
So as we're wrapping up 22, we would get back property taxes from the county at that point?
They have delayed starting in October of 23. So we would be released partially. What the funds that were being held from the 22 audit, once we turn in the 23 audit, we'll get back the funds that were being held from that audit. And then that would actually catch us up to where we should be,
Yeah.
because we won't have any delays unless. And this is not going to happen. I don't anticipate it happening. It's not going to happen unless we don't turn in the 24 audit on time.
Yeah.
So
And then is the 24 audit gonna be that
that's the July
31st
31st
every year?
deadline.
Going
Yeah,
forward?
yep, that is always the deadline
Okay.
for previous year.
Yeah, once we're caught up, then it's just typically around February, March. Or before then, actually, we would contact the auditor and start setting things up, start
Yeah.
giving them information. Audits are usually completed sometime around May or June.
And then after that, so after this 22 is done, what's the lag time before the funds are released from the county?
County only releases funds once a month, around the 10th. So if we got it in February, very likely we would see those March 10th. Now, keep in mind, that's the cash, the actual, the funds that we're entitled to are already accounted for in our financials. So they are, the way accounting works is we're entitled to the funds, so we do record them as an account receivable. And then the county would then provide the cash once the audit is submitted. That being said, we are in a good, healthy spot financially with cash. Cash on hand, bank account balances essentially. So we haven't been in a spot where we're worried about obligations, paying the bills, yeah.
And there's no, excuse me, no hold back, we're getting 100% of.
Mhm.
what
Yep.
we're-
We're not penalized for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, they're probably making interest on holding that we're not gonna see, but
Yeah.
I have kept track of every month of what the property taxes are and what that dollar amount is, and I want this done just as bad as everyone else does. So,
And they just look to see that the audit is complete.
Yeah.
It's just check in a box.
it's because they are being held, the state auditor will have to issue a release of funds. Just like they issued a hold, statement to hold the funds, but that. I believe is just once the audit is complete and reviewed is complete, the auditor will issue that.
They're not like evaluating our statements, things like that.
No, the financials that come from the auditor are that independent audit is what's accepted.
Okay,
We don't,
The state doesn't come in and recheck the auditor's work.
yeah, okay.
They just need to make sure, okay, so audit, I got it on record, well.
any other audit questions?
Did that be done?
We've been talking about them for a while. All right. Still not that one. Still not that one. There we go. Moving in, we had treasurer's report. So this is the November treasurer's report. Shows our revenues and expenses. Any questions, comments, or concerns on the treasurer's report?
Yeah, one, I think we might have talked about this, but it's been a while since we got together. Page 12, IT wages and salaries are 0.
Let me pull up just so I can get some notes in here if I need to. Page 12 of the packet.
Yeah. I think we might have addressed that before, like maybe it was allocated amongst different departments or something to that effect.
So this 75,000.
Yeah,
We had anticipated, I believe, I wasn't here at the beginning of 24. Had anticipated hiring a IT specialist or manager in 2024.
okay,
With the board, that was one of the positions that was delayed until treasurer's report mid-year, and it was given the go-ahead. We actually are hiring right now. So it is also included in the 25 budget. But since no one was hired, we did not expense any.
good.
Any other questions on treasurer's report, financials? Alright, let's scroll down. Our way into. Almost there. Report of bills. So report of bills, this is all the, essentially the checks that were cut. Any questions about these?
Do you have any notes that you need to call our attention to?
I do not.
Yeah, then I have no questions. Bills are what they are.
Actually, I did have a question about the previous report.
Absolutely.
On the-
Do you have a page number?
Yeah, I'm on page 16. And I think we talked about this last time, but it's showing budgeted at $850,000 grant that we have not received anything for.
Correct. So that is for the Revitalizing Main Street project.
Oh, yeah.
And essentially it's gonna be a grant that we aren't issued funds until we've spent them. So
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% sure if it's a reimbursement or if we submit for payment when we are essentially billed an invoice. So with the plants, every time that we got an invoice from the contractor, we would request payment from our loan through the state. We get the payment, the money from the state and pay the contractor.
Okay.
It's either that or it's gonna be, we cut a check and then we request a reimbursement.
And so that'll probably carry over.
It will, yes, that budgeted item did carry over.
Okay.
So there's no corresponding expenses to that revenue, so
Yeah.
it's a net zero.
Did everybody get a copy of the 2025 budget?
The electronic copy,
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
if not, it is on the website and I'm happy to email a link as well. All right, so no other questions on reports? Then I will turn it over to trustee Cannon for a board liaison report, if any.
I tell you what, I'm just trying to get my head back in the game. I've been skiing and Telluride all week, so. And this is my first really day back since that, so. I just want to make a couple of statements. First of all, Nick, I appreciate what you're doing, you know. I have to admit, when you were hired, you know, without municipal finance experience, I had some hesitations. But you're proven to be very capable and very knowledgeable, very thorough, and I am pleasantly surprised and good job.
Thank you, sir.
You know, thank you for what you're doing. And I think most of the board of trustees feels the same way. I don't know if you guys do that, but I know that in April of 2020, we were looking for a finance director. And there was some shakeup in the organization. The town went through a couple of finance directors, you know, after that point. All the candidates that they had in April of 2020 withdrew, except for one. And the one got hired. The one that got hired should not have been hired at the end of the day. And that's why the 2021 audit was not performed, and that got delayed and pushed back. Because there was another turnover, that person left, and another person came in that shouldn't have been there in the finance director position. So it's easy to stand back, I think, and point fingers and say, town, you guys are doing a bad job, you know, Patty, you're doing a bad job, board of trustees, you're doing a bad job. I think everyone did what they could under those circumstances to keep the town running, to keep the town functioning, operating, making sure that our streets get plowed and so forth. It's unfortunate at the same time we were going through a big upheaval with our water rates, which quite frankly, I'll be honest with you, it's not the town's fault. We have to pay a bill that's been being jacked up for the past several years, and it's expensive, and we're trying everything we can to get that under control. So a lot of focus has been on the town's finances, like everyone's messing up, everyone's doing something wrong. I think we're on a good path going forward. Getting the GFOA outstanding budget award last year was a pat on the back, and I think we're getting that again this year.
We have submitted for it.
Have submitted, that'd be it. Even if we make just minor improvements of turning what we did last year, we'll still get that. And that's a pretty significant event, that the Government Finance Officers Association says, you know what, you're doing things right. So, we've still got some struggles, you know, we still got a couple of audits to get in there under the books. We still got Don on retainer, the board did approve, keeping him, extending that contract. I'm not sure how much you use him nowadays, but, it's nice to have that little bit of expertise in your back pocket if need be. But from my standpoint, you're catching on well enough, and I'm not even sure we need him anymore.
Well, thank you.
So, you know, there's a lot of things that's gonna happen this year with the town. We've got the whole construction project for downtown, Main Street. And that's a big grant. It's gonna affect our town or our downtown probably for a good 9 months or so. It's gonna carry over through even next summer probably. When it's done, everyone's excited about this. When it's done, it's gonna be a beautiful looking downtown. And we've got all that budgeted to pay for. We're having a ribbon cutting for the water treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant coming up. I didn't catch the date on that.
Oh,
Did you get that?
Not sure. Believe we're tentatively scheduled. Oh, one more month. Just tentative, and I'm just gonna reiterate, tentatively scheduled for March 12th.
Okay. You know, so we're moving forward. I think the town has got some more challenges ahead. I think economic development is gonna be a big key in our future. We're gonna bring in more sales tax revenues to beef up some of our struggles that we're having in the water fund, because it's affecting our general fund, because we're moving money and making advances to the water fund. We need to rebuild that general fund and those fund balances. So we're gonna have a few more tight years, I think, before things start to settle down, but I appreciate your interest. I appreciate what the town is doing. So that's my report.
Thank you. Just to tag on, the board did discuss the finance committee at their work session last week. And the direction was given to staff, so we are looking at what the next step will be. We are focused right now on the 22 audit first, before that anything would come of that, so. I'll turn it over to you all. Any committee reports, updates, or questions, or anything you want us to share with the board of trustees or town leadership? All right, well, I will thank you all again for your patience getting the meeting started. Hopefully this recording isn't as silly as it looks. And I appreciate your time for being here tonight. Thank you all.
Thanks, Nick.